Okay, let's hope that this all works out now. Hello and welcome to this first match of this weekend between Oliver Nilsson and Dominik Petrek. And we will have 3 matches this weekend. And as you can see, I'm not here with Vidar today, but I'm here with another guest, with Julia Östensson. She is also a Swedish strong chess player, and yeah, she will be joining me today. Unfortunately, Vidar is out skiing. Horrible priorities from his side, so we're here with Julia instead. Do you want to say anything before we start?
Yeah, hello guys. I'm 19 years old and I have like 2,000 Lilo, and yeah, I'll be joining today.
So the games are going to start in a minute or so, I believe. I can check if they have started playing yet. I do not think they have. I hope that the sound works. I'm gonna check that. Yeah, it seems like the sound is is working. Then we will just wait for the players to start. We have today the last match. The last match in the group stage for both Oliver and Dominik. Oliver, who has 2 losses previously, which obviously is not very good news for him. But Dominik, on the other hand, has 1 convincing victory and then also one loss against Aram Pasti. So this match is going to be quite important for their placement in the groups. And it has started now, so we should switch over to the games. Now we have Dominik with the white pieces, which looks correct. And okay, we have a Queen's Gambit here. And Oliver is playing the Slav with G6. This is something he does quite frequently. He did it especially against Vidar in the Nordic Championships just like a week ago or something. So this is something he knows a bit about, but I'm sure Dominik does as well. Dominik is a very, very well-established d4 player, so he definitely knows his stuff. Yeah, what do you think about the opening, Julia?
Yeah, I think it's good opening so far. Nothing really big happening.
Yeah, nothing exciting so far.
Maybe like a5, I don't know.
a5 is a logical idea to try to kick this bishop out. I'm not sure what you would react to that with. But on the other hand, I'm not really sure what this does, because you can get a4, but the bishop just drops back. So I like Oliver's knight d7. He's gonna prepare maybe the move e5 at some point. And so Dominik immediately challenges over here with a4, and basically Oliver is gonna have to play this pawn to b4 now. Very uncertain why he's taking his time here, because this one you just play in a second. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, very strange that he's thinking so much on this move. What is he even considering? Is there a problem to b4 or what?
I don't see a problem. I guess you have to play like knight a2 or something.
Yeah, because b4 play. I guess you go here.
Knight a2 and then a5.
Yeah, but you don't even have to play a5. Like, you could go c5, for example. Because that's kind of the dream, is sort of to play c5 and then activate this bishop along this diagonal.
But also, like, c5, then I can play a5 myself.
Yeah, but I doubt that is particularly scary. I go bishop a6.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I can even consider c4 ideas. So, but he does go for your move a5. Okay. I thought c5 was a better option, maybe, but okay. This also looks good. Dominik now. I like this idea, because if you can get that knight to d3, all of a sudden, there's sort of a bind on the black position. So Oliver plays rook c8, intending to go c5, and this is a very passive move.
Yeah, that's a weird move.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that point is, and Oliver immediately grabs the initiative.
Yeah, I guess he just wanted to go rook c1.
Yeah, but now
yeah.
Very interesting middle game here. Very interesting. Can you just bring this knight to e4? I would do that. Probably.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta do something along those lines.
Yeah, if white doesn't do anything, break up the pawns, then it's gonna be very good for Oliver.
Yeah, and I like this move as well. You're just trying to give some extra stability to these pawns. White is probably gonna have to start, moving these pieces forward, but this pawn is very well protected, and this pawn is also very well protected. So these pieces are kind of attacking nothing, and this is obviously a lot of space on the queen side, and you can never play b3 really because of c3. And so what do you even do here with
and the bishop is kind of stuck on d2, and the rooks don't really help.
Yeah, I like this move though because he's looking at e4. If you get that move, then that would be huge news. And so what would you do here? So okay, I was gonna say that that's an idea, but you can just go e4 anyways.
Yeah.
So actually that is clever move. How do you stop e4 now? Because if you get e4, then all of a sudden everything we said is just not true. Yeah. Because white goes...
White not just...
Okay, this is interesting because he's looking at a4.
Yeah, knight e4.
He goes knight e5, but this one is hanging.
Yeah.
You gotta take this pawn, otherwise queen d7 was horrible.
Yeah.
But I guess he's looking... I guess the point is that you're gonna take, but then you can take, and take on b2, and there black is probably just somewhat better. So he goes for this. You had no option.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about this. So takes is forced. And then you can take with the bishop. Oh, you can take with the bishop. That's clever. Because you're threatening this one. So now Oliver either but if you capture that, then you're kind of depressing. So bishop b7 makes sense, but then b3 and white is never worse, at least.
Yeah.
So bishop c4 is a clever capture. And he does take this, but now there's some weaknesses here. Although this knight on g3 is a bit weird.
Yeah, and also the bishop still.
Yeah, but if you take this pawn, this bishop is coming left. You gotta remember also Oliver has 18 seconds left. He plays rook a8, but now I think that was a poor mistake because rook a1 traps the knight. Although rook c8 is there, so maybe you don't lose a piece because if b3 you can go knight c3, but this is bad news. Rook c8 is only move, and he plays that, and just rook c1. That's clinical. So you actually just do lose a piece here. There's no way to save. That was a long time. Yeah, this is over. That was a very well played game from Dominik. I felt like Oliver did. This is just nothing because b4 is gonna be hanging. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if you move the knight, I can even take on a5. So that would have been a very funny ending. But this is the same, obviously. Take on a5, and now that's all she wrote.
Just okay.
Yeah. And then e4 is gonna come and bishop h6.
Yeah, e4.
Yeah, he's gonna keep playing king f1, knight e2 is the simplest probably. Just getting rid of some pieces. Yeah, he plays just like that, and then knight e2. Now if you take this, bishop h6 is mating. So, but if you don't, then you just it's over. Oliver resigns. One more thing, Dominik, but I think that was not a bad game from either player. I think Dominik played obviously quite well, but Oliver did as well. So he should not be sad about that. And now we have this variation of the French bishop d3. This is, I don't know if you know about this, but this is Oliver's pet line, sort of. He has bragged a lot about having studied this line in a bit of depth. So we'll see what he comes up with here. And so far it looks good. He has not spent any time, and Dominik is kind of thinking, I'm assuming you go for some sort of plan, one of those moves. Okay, he actually takes on c6. I guess, positionally speaking, you are kind of great there after queen f3.
Yeah, isolated pawn.
Or maybe you just castle even. This pawn is a big weakness.
Yeah.
He can even trade. I forgot that even existed. Wait, why did he take with the king? Because a7 was hanging. So basically Oliver is just slightly better in an endgame here. This is gonna be interesting to see if he's gonna be able to win this one, or if he's gonna lose it, or if it's gonna become a draw. Because I feel like it should become a draw with best play, because this weakness, it's only one weakness, and you can sprint the A pawn up the board.
And you have the B file if you want.
Yeah, exactly. You can try to move here, provoke B3, and then at some point you can get these exchanges, and then you only have one weakness, and you can use this D5 square to maybe
King E2.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. He wants to take with the king, not weakening his structure. And then basically his plan is probably going to be bringing a rook to D1, excluding the knight with C4, and then just trying to use the queenside majority that he has. So what is Dominik's plan here?
I would want to play like... I like G6.
Yeah, G6 makes sense. You want to get the bishop here, but on the other hand, you do create
weaknesses, yeah.
Yeah, you do create some weaknesses.
But I guess he wants to play bishop G7, put the king on E7, and maybe rook B8, rook D8 or something.
You got bishop E7. Probably too. But I agree. It makes no sense to play G6 if you're going to go bishop E7. And now the king is going to hide here. Although it's not easy for Oliver to make progress either.
Does Dominik want to play F5 or something? Just take space. F5 and maybe E5.
He has to do something like that because Oliver has obviously this queenside majority, and Dominik has his majority over here, 4 against 3. So you gotta start pushing these pawns. And the thing is, this king is sort of weak.
Yeah.
And actually, I like what has happened here for him. Maybe Oliver should have been a bit more careful, because now he will use the fact that the king is sort of
in the middle.
Yeah, in the middle, and he will get a bunch of tempos, like bishop c5 is going to come with a tempo. E4 as well, because you moved the rook to d3, which was maybe not the ideal square for it.
Yeah,
and also,
the knight is kind of restricted by the pawns.
The knight has been forced to c3, which is bad, because you would like to be able to push these pawns, and now... But okay, I assume that it's still pretty equal, yeah. Dominik obviously wants to keep a rook, because... It is well known that rooks and bishops work better than rooks and knights. So it makes sense for Dominik to keep a pair of rooks. Maybe you can bring this rook into b8 at a later moment, target over here, and then the bishop can find its way to d4. Oliver is going to be forced to play accurately here if he wants to survive this, for sure. One idea that I would consider is a move like knight a4, because this knight is not really in a good spot, and you kind of want to find some squares for it, but
bishop b7,
yeah, problem is black just goes bishop e7, and you can't really go anywhere.
3. Yeah, now rook b8, I guess.
Yes, rook b8. And now there are problems for white.
I would, bishop e7, maybe.
Yeah, another move is bishop f6, just hinting at e4. Bishop e7 makes sense. He goes rook e8, also with the idea of e4 probably. Provoking this b3 move so that the c3 knight can be a target later on in the game. I would also like to maneuver this bishop to d4 at some point. That feels like a good square for the bishop, but I would be very scared if I were Oliver here, because
this does not look good for Oliver.
Obviously, if Oliver was the better player on paper, then probably this would be fine. But the problem is, Dominik is a higher rated player, and
he's getting low on time.
Oliver is getting low on time, and chances are that he's gonna make some mistakes in this endgame. Also, especially because Oliver is not a great endgame player. I mean, he's not terrible at endgames, but it's not his main strength. And if he wants to take points against Dominik, he needs to be in the type of positions where he's at his best, and that's dynamic, just chaotic positions. And this is just not one of them.
There are many games left.
There are many games left, and it's only you only need 4 points in total. So
can you play like e4 now?
Yeah, I mean, e4 makes sense.
E4.
But the problem is, I suppose, that say I were to get such a position, having exchanged all those pawns is in general good for white because okay, he does play e4. Maybe he's intending e3 on
yeah,
gf5.
I think e3.
Because exchanging pawns is in general good for white, but now the problem is with these pawns left on the board, there will be a bunch of issues. That is one idea, but you gotta obviously watch out for e4. King e2, I like that move, just stepping out of rook f8 with the tempo.
Yeah, I would just play like e3 and rook f8 stuff.
But the problem is, I guess, that when you go rook f8, I will go knight e4, and it's not so easy. And rook d4 is kind of on the cards right now, forcing e3. So he goes e3.
Yeah, I like rook d4.
You have to watch out for bishop f6, right. But you can go either rook e4 or rook d3. So probably that's not too horrible.
Not seen in a long time.
Rook d3 played, makes sense, targeting this pawn. If rook f8, now knight e4 is a very easy response. So that should not be...
Maybe just...
And also, this knight is sort of ready to go here and take the pawn. Actually, that's...
Yeah.
How do you counter that? Because knight is going here, and then...
And he's getting into time trouble.
Dominik is also... He's definitely not happy with how he's played this. Both these pawns are obviously on light squares, making it...
Yeah, king b6.
Very, and we'll see if Oliver can play this knight d1 idea. He does. And knight takes pawn. And now he's gonna want to step out with king f3 probably. King f2. So Oliver is a pawn up. So that's sort of a turn of events. He's a pawn up. Dominik can perhaps force a draw with rook e8, I was about to say, but he goes for more with a4. And that was... But there was rook d3 back.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I'm not sure what's going on now. So he's gonna try to move his rook to a2, and he's just... winning the pawn, maybe? Or rook c3 and rook c4 if you go bishop f6.
Bishop f6.
So he's still holding on to the pawn. Bishop f6 played, rook c4 played. Bishop e5, knight goes back.
I think this is gonna be a draw.
No, some side is gonna win, but I don't know how. Knight goes here. I'm pretty sure Oliver is quite nervous right now. G5 now, though. G5 would have secured a very large advantage. He plays it now, but now it's sort of too late. Rook c4. Because... Oh, but he's winning c6 now. What is going on now? What is going on? But it seems like Oliver has won. Yeah. Whoa. I was not expecting that. What even happened there? I think he assumed Oliver was gonna take on c6, so he pre-moved king b7, and then Oliver played something else. That's kind of ironic, but okay. Now we have a king's India, so Oliver is abandoning his Slav ideas, obviously getting a bit crushed in the last game, and now, yeah, this you know a bit more about than the previous games.
Now you play like knight a6, put the knight on c5.
Yeah, this is what Oliver is gonna do. This is what I've taught both him and you to do. So I assume that this is gonna happen. This is the move recommended by another player in this course. You and I had this position on the Blitz game today, and you played the move h5, which is not a great move. The best move is to play c6. A5 is, I think, not so great either, because you wanna play the queen to a5 later on to put pressure on e4. Now white has sort of a free hand on the king side. But the thing about these positions is the computer loves white. Like, the computer is saying I go h4, I go h5, and white is winning almost. Yeah. But practically, you get this pawn h6, which is great because this bishop is not really gonna be able to get back in the game. But you gotta figure out how do I take care of this queenside initiative? Like, black can play bishop d7, b5, rook c8. I think in classical chess, this is not so difficult to take care of, but I've noticed by playing this myself as white in blitz games that this is not fun, because black just goes here, and then he, does all these ideas,
Yeah.
And it's not easy to stop in blitz. But that being said, I like Dominik's approach with his queen d2 move. I should pay attention to what he's doing now so I can beat you guys easier. And that is not a good move I was about to say. Because that one is hanging.
I guess you take.
What was his? Do you think he missed that? It was hanging.
I don't think he missed it.
But he's thinking.
He's gonna play takes and rook b8 and hope for the best.
Yeah, obviously he's gonna do something like this, but can there ever be compensation if I play knight a3 to c4? I doubt it. But
yeah, I think this is just good for white.
Yeah, it feels like he got a bit confident after the last victory that he had in the last game. So he goes takes, and he's gonna bring, I guess, the queen to b6 or the rook to b8 or something like that.
Queen b6, yeah.
Hold on, queen takes b2.
Oh.
Wait, what? In that case, black is just better. Do you think he'll find queen takes b2 here?
Yeah, I think you found it.
But he's
thinking. But that's the move you play. Like
instantly if you see it. Yeah, he missed it. Oh no. Queen takes b2. Because bishop c5 intermediate move didn't work. But he has it again. He has it again. Queen takes b2. That's just a large black advantage. Because this stuff that you're doing... No. Yeah. Okay, so... But it's anyways interesting. Knight goes to b6. And then the knight goes to c4.
Yeah.
But he had actually the option of playing queen takes b2 twice, and both of them missed it. It's kind of incredible.
Yeah.
But now this...
Now it's thinking for a long time.
Or maybe we just lost our internet connection. He plays rook b8. And now I think Dominik has spotted it because he's defending d3, he's defending d2.
Okay, rook c8. But I like Oliver's moves.
But I like Dominik's moves now as well. Queen e2, knight f2, rook b1, very clinical stuff. Oliver had definitely his chance in this game, but I like what Dominik is doing now, and I think it's going to be an uphill battle from here. Because, as I was talking about, the point of moving this pawn to h6, it looks... When you see it for the first time, it looks like you're spending 3 moves, and you're not even mating. But the problem is, this bishop is just not ever getting in the game. You have to reroute it like this. But once you do, there becomes holes on g7, and there could be mating ideas. And now Dominik has been able to castle. Black is never getting in f5 because of this pawn.
Yeah.
And if you don't get in f5, you didn't take your chance to take on b2. Things are bad. And
Bishop f6.
You can see he's trying, but the problem is, even if you get 3 moves, where are you really going?
Yeah. You
can, in best case, trade them, but...
Yeah.
But not even
like,
really.
Maybe like a4 and play a3 or something. But
you mean from black's point of view?
Yeah.
To play a4, a3.
Yeah.
But that is always met with b3.
Yeah, and then like
or b4.
Try to transfer the bishop.
He goes a4. Oh, you mean to play bishop d8,
d8,
bishop
a4, bishop a5, yeah.
Rook c1. I assume that is what he's gonna do, because I can't really see any other ideas, but that being said, I don't think it's enough. He's a pawn down, and now he's starting to make sort of pointless moves. But
I guess
he wants a3, but
a3, yeah.
But even if a3 b4, you just win the knight,
is,
so a3 is just not possible.
Queen e5.
This is very slow. Now you're allowing exchanges. I like the way Dominik converted this after.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was not so great allowing queen takes b2. That was against a better player. He would have lost that game probably, because after queen b2 is a horrible position. But or even not even against a better player, against Oliver when he finds queen b2.
Yeah.
I think Oliver wins that. But after that, like when he spotted this with knight f2 rook b1, I think quite clean stuff from Dominik. And now Oliver, this is Oliver's idea. He's looking at bishop g5. But I think it's too little too late, kind of. Because although if you can start drumming up pressure here, that could be an interesting idea. But you gotta also...
all these pieces on the queen side.
And you gotta watch out. Bishop takes, queen takes, knight a4 is the second pawn, if you want it. Now h6 will be weak in that position, but that was an option, and it's still an option. You can take, and take on a4. And well, I can't really evaluate that position properly because black will maybe take on h. He goes for it, takes.
But this must be very good for white.
Yeah, if I say Oliver has to take this.
Just take, yeah.
Yeah, and b2 is unprotected, so you could
can
take this. That does allow queen c1, but I don't think that is.
Okay.
He just very clinical. Queen d2, and now he can even start mating here. Rook h1, queen h6, if he wants to, or he can just go for the second pawn with rook c5, and then.
I would just play rook h1 because he's so low on time. So.
Yeah, I would probably take it because after rook h1, you would have this option to defend.
But I like h5. He's trying to do something on the king side.
g5, and then just bring the rook back and trap the queen. You would have to go queen f4, but.
Okay, he plays g5.
But after queen f4, the rook in game is just losing. Now rook c6 is probably the cleanest. Looks like a very clean win. Yeah, rook c6 played. And now it's very easy, rook g6.
Yeah.
Although actually b2 is hanging, so you gotta be a little careful. But you can start by taking this, obviously. King h7, and now...
rook e6.
Yeah, as long as you don't take queen g5, because then rook b2 and then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes rook e6. Now this allows g4 though. Oh, but now it's checkmate.
Oh.
Probably.
Yeah,
this is checkmate. Yeah.
Okay, but it's 2-1.
Nice game from Dominik, I think.
Yeah.
I think Dominik really showed some great skill there. As after the opening was, I think, won by Oliver when he had that chance to play queen takes b2. As I was saying as well, it's so difficult to play white in those positions. Yeah, Oliver is going for his classical fantasy variation. Dominik, interesting to note, he switches from e6 after that last game, fearing the bishop d3 variation, so he instead plays into the fantasy. This is typical Oliver. He's doing these sort of weird opening systems that he learns. But he has good results. I think decent results in the fantasy. I'm not sure. I know he played it one game pretty recently. Obviously, I don't have that much knowledge about Dominik's opening play. I know that he's a d4 player with white. He's played that all his games in this tournament. But as black, I can't seem to recall really what has been his defenses. But this is interesting. Oliver is very quickly giving up 2 pawns.
Yeah.
And Dominik did not take the second one. And Oliver just keeps giving it, but Dominik keeps refusing. So clearly this is some sort of preparation idea. The queen is gonna...
I think this is preparation.
Maybe not preparation, but I think he definitely knows something about it. And it looks really scary. But they're playing so quickly. Like Oliver is getting here with knight e5, c4, and suddenly black is lost. Yeah. So black, it's kind of up to black now to find something concrete to prove that he's actually doing okay here. And I'm not really sure.
You should play this black?
Well, I'm not really sure at all. And neither is Dominik, as we can see.
Yeah.
This would be one of the ideas.
Yeah.
Because if you go here, I can take this.
Right.
Maybe.
But then bishop f2. But yeah, that's...
Bishop f2, I can maybe take this. I'm not sure. Yeah, this is scary.
Yeah.
This is really scary. He goes knight f4.
Yeah.
I think you had to, because you want to introduce the option of queen d4. You want to introduce the option of knight d3.
Yeah.
And now what is the question? Bishop c4 is always possible, but it's a bit slow. Knight e5 is obviously the direct move. Just saying.
Okay, rook d1.
That's also sort of direct saying I want to protect my d4 pawn. You take, I take, and then I'm gonna bring this knight. Queen d5 is a strong move, I think. Knight e5.
Can you play like c5?
No.
No.
No, you can definitely not play c5. But you can maybe play... Although you're kind of pinned to this f7 pawn as well.
Yeah.
c5 would be... It has to be straight up suicide.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine that move being any good for black. But on the other hand, what do you even try?
What do you play is black?
Yeah. I have an option. What about queen e4?
Queen e4.
Because you can take it, and then you can take on f7. And then I bring my rook to f8.
I can take with the knight, yeah, rook f8 and check on d6.
No, because I'm covering d6 with the e4.
Oh, right.
So queen e4 is a move. But, I mean, white could take it, but white could also play queen g3. And there would be g5. He plays here. Yeah, he wants to just
castle long.
Get away. I wonder if Oliver is going to take this with the rook now. Just to...
The rook.
Just stop castle. I doubt it, though, because g takes and then rook goes here, and then it's... Meaning it is. c4 is an option, but queen e4... But... Yeah. Also, bishop f6. And takes. Castle, knight f7. Is possible. And he goes for that. But I sort of think that that's...
Rook takes. c4.
That's very clever, because after queen d6, rook f6, castles knight f7, that queen is gonna be attacked as well. So I like that move. And now rook takes f6, just go for that.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure why he's thinking, does he wanna include this, but then you can just castle. You have to take on f6 now. It's not a difficult move. Surely you have to take on f6.
Yeah.
Either he's cooking up something very smart. Okay, no, he just takes on f6. And that forces rook f8, yeah. So still 1 pawn up for black. You want to look at these moves, but black just castles. You could throw your queen into a5, just stopping castlings. But the queen doesn't do anything there, so you'd rather not. You can obviously take this pawn, but then black castles. He goes d5. Queen c5 check. And then castle is one idea.
Okay, he castles.
Castling is played immediately. If you take on c6, he will play queen c5 check. That's the only move.
Okay. You take back.
And now you take
knight takes, queen takes.
You can throw in a rook takes.
And the f7 pawn is hanging.
Yeah, so it feels like this is gonna be a lot of exchanges and then maybe a drawish endgame.
Yeah.
No, he takes on f7, but that looks bad. Although actually queen, this is hanging with check. Right. So it's not... I thought you could just go rook g8, but queen e6. This is an interesting match we have here.
Whoa.
Oh, has he found something?
Is this the position?
Yeah. And the king should go to the...
f3.
Yeah, f something at least. King h3, queen h5, king f3. Wow.
King f3.
What's going on? And now he's gonna just run with the king straight.
Whoa.
Queen h3, rook f3. Oh, the checks were blocked. All the checks would have been blocked after that. And now you're getting mated with... Oh, no! That's such a silly mistake. That's such a bad mistake. Rook f3. This is winning for white after rook f3.
Yeah.
He could have made it 2-2. He should have made it 2-2. And now instead we have a 3-1. Oliver is there, so this should be right. And now Dominik is actually not even playing d4. Probably he's worried about the King's Indian. And Oliver is now again opting for the Slav, which is... I'm not sure. He got such a good position in the King's Indian last time. I would not have swapped that out so quickly if I were him.
Yeah, me neither.
But clearly he has some ideas in the Schlechter Slav as well. Okay. It will be interesting to see. Basically, if Dominik wins this game, then he only needs to make a draw out of the remaining 4 games. Out of the remaining 3 games.
Yeah, Oliver can have to win this.
If Oliver wins this, then we have a very exciting match on our hands. If Dominik wins this, the match is more or less over because I don't think Oliver is taking 3 in a row after that.
Yeah.
So Oliver is more... I mean, he can draw probably. Drawing here is fine.
Yeah.
And then winning with white. But he can't lose.
Yeah.
95. And now what's happening? Oliver is taking some time. Change. Makes sense.
Now the bishop on g4 is kind of looking into nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So he plays bishop e6 instead to presumably... Yeah, I'm not even sure.
I think it's weird to play bishop e6 after you play rook e8.
It feels like Oliver is not really understanding this structure so far, and I think Dominik is just playing very natural moves, and it will be a slight white advantage here for sure. He's setting a bit of a trap now with dc4, but I think you can just play maybe bishop c3. Feels like a normal move from Dominik here.
Yeah, bishop c3.
Or you could go, okay, bishop c3 played.
Bishop c3.
If queen a3, you can even throw in bishop b2 if you want to, because queen a2, rook a1 is obviously unfortunate news for...
Okay,
like, so he goes here.
e6.
He wants maybe to go c5, d4. That's why I like this move from Dominik.
Yeah, I like this.
Queen b2, because now if c5, cd5. So Oliver prepares it with rook d8, threatening this. Oh, I think c5 here could be a great move. I think that could be a really great move. That would really seize control of all the dark squares.
Here, bishop.
He goes bishop here instead. I guess he still has some idea of c5. So Oliver decides to take, but this is not.
This is just good for white.
Takes. You can take with the pawn, you can take with the rook. You have a bunch of choices. Yeah, Oliver is not in good shape here.
Yeah.
For sure not. So... bad news for Oliver. And very good news for Dominik. I like how he played this opening. Clearly, I think he's figured out now as well that Oliver is a bit of a dynamic player, and he needs to steer the game into this sort of positional double bishops positions, and then Oliver will make some weird moves, and he will go wrong. I think particularly
bishop e6 I think is like the biggest mistake.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, but I mean, probably he was worried about something here, but it feels like this whole setup, if you're forced to go bishop e6 on knight e5, then clearly rook e8 was not so useful.
Yeah.
It feels like he mixed something up, and then also this rook c8 move is not that useful either, because he's not taking on d5, so that move as well was sort of a bit too much, I suppose. And whoa. Now it feels like he's just I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Rook e6 is not even really an idea, because you take on g7 first and then bishop h3, and then that is not great. So Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good position for white.
Yeah, for sure.
He does take.
He takes on g7, and then he just starts to slowly squeeze over here with b4, b5 ideas. Okay. Oliver's searching counterplay, just stopping it with a3. Very slow game, but there's no need to hurry for Dominik. He can just take it slowly. He has more time. If you go a takes, I even have rook takes.
Yeah.
So black is trying to... Oh, I'm tired. Black is trying to maneuver the knight to d4. Maybe he can play move like h5, move like h4.
He just play like bishop h3.
Yeah, but I guess that's sort of what Oliver is hoping for, that Dominik will somehow move his pieces away from the king, and then he can get some rook f6, I don't know. Some sort of cheap tricks. Targeting f2, but...
Yeah,
it's not real. He goes for your move, bishop f3. Rook f6?
Okay, rook f6.
I suppose. You gotta try something. I mean, you're sort of in a must-win situation.
What happens if just e4 then? Because you protect with the queen.
I forgot that e4 was a threat. Then maybe you should move the rook. Yeah, he plays rook d8. That's interesting though. I would not have taken that so fast, and I would not have played h6 either. I would have gone rook g6, but okay, h6, queen f4.
I guess like okay.
The problem is like if you ever go queen b5, rook c5, sort of is unpleasant. Now we've been disconnected. That sucks. He goes queen b5, but rook c5, and you can't take on b4 because the queen is...
Oh, this is not good news for Oliver.
Yeah, now that pawn is falling, and I think Oliver, very similar to what he did against Pasti in his last match, he gets sort of good positions. He plays kind of good, but then he screws up in the most important moments. Although in this match, he actually won a game, which is, I think, yeah, well done from him.
Yeah.
I think he's playing good, and definitely in the knockout stages when perhaps a bit more time will be added to the time control, then he has chances to go far, even though he's not really rated to do so.
Okay.
So rook here or rook here, rook f6 probably.
Yeah, rook f6 I would play.
And then you can try such a maneuver maybe.
Rook e5.
He goes rook h5. Rook d4.
Okay, let's take. I would just play rook h4.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, queen f5. Yeah, and this is just over.
And rook g4. And that's that. So that was the unofficial must-win game for Oliver, and now we have the official must-win game for him.
He needs to win this.
He's playing with the white pieces. Will we see the French? Will we see the Caro-Kann? Or will Dominik... No, Dominik opts for b6 this time. So he just wants to get out of theory, I think. And he's going to play something along these lines. Usually you throw a pawn to c5, you throw the knight to f6. D5. He goes for a French with the bishop. Okay, this is obviously a terrible French for black because this is not really... Like, especially if white plays e5, which he has done. But Dominik is trying to play more of a strategic French, and he doesn't want any sort of theoretical battle. And now he's going to play a5, I'm pretty sure. Because this is obviously the idea. And if he gets that, I think already Oliver is going to struggle. Because not because I think his position is bad, but simply because Oliver sort of needs to attack if he wants to have a serious shot at winning a game. I think he
he will play f4.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you go for something like that and bishop a6 and then you play knight f3 and you allow some exchanges and black might set up a bind over here, He plays g6, h5, knight goes here, bishop goes here. And then he starts pressuring over there. Dominik will win. Also, I'm pretty sure Dominik is an experienced French player, or at least he seems to be going for a lot of French structures. So he definitely feels comfortable in the French.
Okay.
I think Oliver is definitely not the person I would bet my money on in such a scenario.
Yeah. Okay. But
so he chooses a more modest approach to just castle, keeping the f-pawn here. Now he was looking at bishop b5, so understandably Dominik captures.
But what are White's plans here?
Well, I'm not sure. You need the light square bishop, kind of. I mean, the only drawback to Dominik's idea of bishop b7, bishop a6 is the fact that maybe it was a bit slow. But Oliver has not really exploited this. I mean, the moves a4, b3 are also quite slow, and there are no real threats to the black position. So, yeah, I think he's just going to start moving the pieces.
Bishop a3 or something, Oliver.
Yeah, but if you go bishop a3, then clearly you don't have anything particular from the opening. And then, I mean, it's a game from here, for sure. But bishop takes, knight takes, h5. Doesn't feel particularly great. Puts a knight in here.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if he can find any good plans here for White, but I like Dominik's prospects. Now he's gonna transfer this one. He's gonna eyeball c5, he's gonna eyeball f6. And now Oliver has kind of made a weakness here, so Dominik can try to exploit that. He starts by kicking the knight, but that sort of drags it forward. But he wants probably to use it with f6. And then you kind of wish that you didn't have a knight on d6, because after takes, rook takes, there are threats everywhere. Actually, it's funny, if you take here, if I take with the rook, maybe you have g5. So takes, I take with the pawn, and then the knight is trapped on d6. Which would be a bit unfortunate. Although you could maybe play queen e3 in that position, but king g7.
g5. It's unclear, I think.
Plays g5 straight away. But this does allow the knight to go back to f5. Which I think it will do.
Okay, took.
And knight f5. Okay, so yeah, okay, now this is just bad for black. For white, sorry. Dominik is just gonna capture this with the rook, and then he's gonna bring the next one, and then knight to f4. It's an uphill battle for sure for Oliver. We'll see if he can do anything with it, but time is worse for him.
Yeah, he plays king h1.
That just drops d6. Although Dominik doesn't even want it. He just wants to go for his stuff. Now you should probably not take this, because take on h7 is an idea. Although takes on f2. And then you got some mate ideas. So even that is probably good for black. But he just sort of methodically just goes for it. If I were Oliver now, I would just go rook g4, but okay, what else can you do? You just gotta hope and pray that there will be something happening on h7 or g7. Rook g4 played. Obviously, there's a massive threat of rook takes h4, so don't blunder that. If you're Dominik here. Actually,
how do you defend?
I think you gotta go back.
Go back.
But if you do, then okay, he goes back. But now that's clearly something Oliver is happy about, because he got both those moves for free. And you can still kind of not take this because of knight h7 ideas.
Now you're threatening knight h7 also.
Knight h7 is a threat, a big threat. Do you think we're gonna see a victory here again for Oliver?
I mean, he's getting a bit low on time, but anything can happen, I think, here.
I think this is bad news for black.
Yeah.
97 maybe. Let's try to bolster up. But knight h7 anyways. Maybe.
Yeah.
And then rook
and you
g6.
also have like h4, h5, I guess.
That's true. h4 is a good move. Because if h6, you can just move the knight and g6 is fine. Yeah, he's not happy here, Dominik. He's thinking.
I would be scared.
You're always scared though. Knight h7, rook f2. I think that's the critical idea.
Knight
Whoa.
h8?
That feels odd. Knight takes f5, rook takes f5, knight takes e6. Take on where?
You can take.
Take there.
Yeah, I take.
I don't see anything though. Yeah, I do kind of.
But
Takes here, rook g8.
Okay, but what about like takes and g6?
Takes here and g6.
Yeah.
He goes for that, and now rook g8. Takes that pawn. I don't like that. Now you're allowing knight f7. What about rook g8 here? You had to play king e7. And then you could have thrown in.
Okay, they're getting long.
No, but this is just not working. This is just not close to working. King e7 just run. Whoa.
Whoa. Okay, now this is getting scary.
No, but this is not working. There are no threats.
Queen f8.
Or maybe there are some threats.
Rook f8. Yeah.
But you had to play queen f8 there, I thought. Wait. Okay, now it's bad. Okay, so Oliver gets one back. 4-2.
This is exciting.
He gets one back. h7 was hanging against knight takes d6, they say. I can't recall that. So now we have a b3, bishop b2, and now Oliver goes for a king's Indian sort of setup. Interesting. If he wins this game, Oliver, he's kind of getting life into the match again.
Yeah.
Because then it's one game, and we have the exact same line that we saw before. And knight e5 was played, but it was not the same. There was a move.
The knight was on d7.
I think
right?
d3, knight d7
and
was
the rook
maybe.
was on e8.
Right, so they had some moves included. Maybe those moves. And we'll see if he chooses the e6 square yet again. But here, this is sort of. Ooh.
Whoa. Oh.
But that has to be good for black. I mean, hang on. Take on c4. Doesn't that win a pawn for black? Because bc4, queen to b6. And he takes on c4. This is just... Oh, that's a great move.
Right.
That's a great move.
Bishop b6.
Yeah, but then you can't take on c4 because after queen b6, there will be bishop d4. So rook f4 is a really great move. And now what? Bishop e6? I mean, bishop e6 is the move you play here. Clearly.
Yeah.
Because you want to force bc4. And then the question is, can you do something there? bc4?
Mm-hmm.
You also have some options like throwing in a move like bishop h6. That
Then
could be...
Just rook d4.
But against rook d4, I can maybe play queen b6. And I could put pressure on this one and pin. Oliver just develops knight d7. I kind of like this because if you play d4 now, which is the natural move, protecting the pawn, then queen b6, and then you're actually reinforcing a threat of taking here. Maybe.
d4, can you take on an e5?
Oh, that's true as well. You can just take it.
Yeah.
So it's not even defending. So Dominik is in some trouble here. Maybe.
Maybe.
So basically, this pawn is hanging.
Mm-hmm.
If you take that pawn, black is just better.
Yeah.
There's always a queen b6 kind of idea. And you cannot play d4 because I simply take it.
Yeah.
And also, d4 was not really working anyways because bishop c4. So d4 was not even close to working in any case. So
that's rook e4 really bad.
You could play it, but that's really, really passive stuff. And your rook is not greatly placed. I think bishop f5. And if you go rook d4, I think I'm rounding off the pawn with queen c7. And then just bishop takes e5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I feel like, yeah. And he's already spent... He's
getting low on time.
He's getting nervous. He's getting nervous for sure. Yeah, because the thing is also, if Dominik loses this game...
Yeah.
It's a match, because then it's Oliver is white in the last game.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Dominik kind of wants to win this match because John has one victory. He's probably going to lose against Pasti tomorrow, but he has one victory, and Dominik has one victory. And if Dominik, okay, I guess if Dominik draws in this match, a 4-4 score, then he would still finish second in his group. So that would work out for him.
Okay.
So I guess technically it's not so important for Dominik if he wins or not in this match, but still you wanna win.
Yeah.
You don't wanna draw such a match. So knight e5 was played here, getting the threats of knight c4 or knight f3. And Dominik replied queen b3, protecting b2, stepping out of the horrible pin.
Mm-hmm. I would play like maybe queen b6.
I would consider a5, just try to go after that queen. But maybe I'm playing for tricks.
What about queen b6?
You can always play queen b6 and then you get an endgame, but...
And then you're threatening like knight f3 stuff.
Yeah, so white will play maybe there, but then you can take on d3.
But then I can play knight f3 anyways.
He plays a5 and knight c3 instantly from Dominik. No, that is a bad move. That one can be taken. I'm not sure what he saw here, but...
What?
Wow, that's weird, because now he gets a3. That's weird. Queen b6. King h1, knight g4.
Oh.
That's scary, because there's a pin here. So knight e4 is never possible. This is
getting scary, yeah.
That's really scary for white. Knight e4 first is also looks good.
Mm. He's thinking.
I wonder what he's looking at. Maybe he's looking at okay, he plays check. King goes there. He's gonna play knight e4. If you play that move, you do play the second one as well. I'm pretty sure. But he's taking his time. Very exciting stuff now. He has to win this match, obviously. If he wins this match, if he wins this game, the match is open.
Mm.
But he plays queen e5. That's not a good move. Why did he not go knight g4? What was he worried about? I can't find what he was worried about. That's a very bad maneuver.
He's low on time.
I think now he's panicking. Yeah. Now he's just panicking now, but that never works.
No.
That never works. He's truly panicking now. 6 seconds left. He spent so much time on this. He spent 20 seconds. With 20 seconds left, he spent all of them on the queen a5 to a7 maneuver, and now he is technically still winning.
He's a pawn up.
But I don't think he's technically even winning anymore because his pieces just don't make any sense now. And now Dominik has a plan and Oliver does not, and that simply never works. Now the pieces are flowing into the game for like he's gotta just
f5
react, but
Bishop.
the queen is so out of play. Like, that was such a horrible maneuver from Oliver. He literally maneuvered his queen into, death. So, and now he's trying to bring it back here, but Dominik is very quick over on the king's side, and now he's probably gonna go for an end game here and take on b7. No. Oh, knight e4.
You take on d4.
And now you take on b7 and no, g4. Do you think?
Whoa.
Do you think that
the rook is getting trapped?
Wait, the rook is getting trapped. But there was maybe king g3. I don't know. What?
Oh, wait. Whoa.
That's such a sad way to end the match. No. Such an interesting match. And Oliver plays b5. No, that's such a sad way to end it all. Such a sad way to end it. Yeah, another knight drops.
Oh,
wow.
No.
Yeah, it was very fascinating. Let's see if we can bring them up for interviews. I should do this so you can see them laughing here. Let's see if we can talk to them. Hello, can you guys hear us? Yeah, that was interesting. Andy, we can start with Dominik. Were you ever scared that he was gonna make a comeback there when he got that good position? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but it worked out in the end. And Oliver, what about you? Did you ever believe that you were gonna come back, or were you low on confidence?
I never believed in myself.
You never believed in yourself. Yeah, that sounds wonderful. Okay, well, thank you guys for playing today. I think both of you have now played all of your group stage matches, so I'll see you guys in the knockout rounds. Yeah.